to Nomad at Night, starring the one and only Nomad.
So, Mr. Trump, how do you feel about the Nomad at Night podcast?
Listen, I love the Nomad at Night show. The production is great. Nomad is the best.
Okay, I agree.
And he's kind of cute, too.
Oh, I don't know about that. You're a sick
Kind of
dude.
cute. Yes, he is. Yeah, shut up, Sleepy Joe. Sleepy Joe, you
What
son
an
of
idiot.
Look, just shut up.
Yo, what's up, Nomaniacs? Welcome to Nomad at Night. I'm your host, Nomad. Got some trusties here with me. Brian over there in the corner, Keith over there at the top, and Kids, the Canuck, right next to Brian down there, man. What's going on tonight? Welcome to the show, special Nomad at Night. I figured we should do something like, because I think I ain't gonna say most of the fan base, I'm gonna say portions of the fan base have already migrated to the idea that Caleb Williams is going to be the first pick in the draft, and that's what's going to happen because of some of the wording out of Ryan Poles' mouth and Fluce's mouth, and not really giving strong consideration to the fact that it's got to be gamesmanship right now to keep the value of your pick high. Whether or not they actually take him with the number one pick or not, there's a reason why you're hearing certain words coming out of both of their mouths. They know exactly what they're doing. And so while everybody else is flying the coop and, kind of going stir crazy on Twitter and going through anxiety problems and depression and all that kind of stuff, let's just reel it back a little bit tonight and do this. Let's try to make the case. Let's see if we can build the case as to why, has Justin earned the right to have this team built around him? Has he not earned the right to have this team built around him? Let's try to make the case tonight and see how everybody feels about it. So, chat, do me a favor. Get your comments in, and Nick's going to do his best to try to get your comments up. But as we go, we'll maneuver around. We'll get as much of them as we can on the screen. But let's just start with some pleasantries, fellas. I see you up at the top. Keith, we'll start with you, man.
Good evening, No Maniacs. How y'all doing? Thank you for chiming in with us again this evening. Do appreciate it. Once again, all my fellow brothers here on the panel, I do appreciate being here with you this evening. I am ready to dive into some Chicago Bear football. What about you, my brother Kids?
Hey, man. I'm ready to do it. As always, it's a nighttime thing on a Wednesday, a little bit different, but let's go. Happy to have all you guys here with us. As always, bear down, chat. Love to see you guys out here with us today. Brian?
Hey, everybody. It's been a while since you've seen this mug on camera. It's ratings week, so Nomad wants to put me on. It's great seeing you. I see all you guys in the afternoon when I'm in the background, and I want to say hi to you, and I enjoy all your comments, and this should be an interesting episode tonight.
All right. So how about this, man? Let's just dig right on into it, man, because I don't see no need to just mess around too much tonight. Hopefully Samuel will be joining us here. He had looks like a little bit of technical difficulties. Hopefully he won't be long before he's in here. But let's get it started, man. He'll fill in if he makes it. But let's go back to year one with Matt Nagy. What was it? Andy Dalton and Nick Foles. Am I correct?
Yes.
Quarterbacks.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And I was of the mindset. I wasn't like a lot of the fans in the fan base. Everybody was clamoring for Justin. We need to play him. This, that, and the third. And I'm just like, that line is awfully shoddy to be playing a rookie right now. He probably doesn't really know what he's doing. And you know what I mean? And the NFL it's a different type of speed, right? And so I don't know what week that was when they finally played him in that Cleveland game. Somebody can help me out there.
I think it was the 5th or 6th week.
Yes, somewhere in that neighborhood, right?
Something like that.
And so I thought it was way early. I also believe
Cleveland was week 4, I think.
Okay, week 4.
Because he came in the week prior against Cincinnati because Dalton got hurt. He
Okay.
came in, looked pretty well, and then the next week he started for the Browns, and that's when Nagy had that wonderful play calling.
All right. So let's do this. I'm of the mindset. See, I'm like dual minded when it comes to certain things, like certain positions. Well, pretty much all positions in football. There's a way to learn, and most of the time it's on the field, on the grass. What's going on, Samo? You wanna introduce yourself because we was just about to dig in, man. Uh-oh. Samo still delayed.
Oh, he's super glitched.
Hey,
All right. Hey, Samo, give me a thumbs up. You can hear me, man. We'll try to work through it.
we'll just
Okay. Just move your mouth, Samo, as you hear my voice.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is
All
that
right,
good?
All right.
okay. You're okay. All right.
Ventriloquist.
Now. All
I
right,
heard
go
Samo.
ahead, do some shout outs right quick, Samo, man. You just got up in here.
Hey, what's up, fellas? What up, Keith? What up, Nomad? What up, kids? What's up, Brian? Shout out to Nick and Chris in the back. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Man, it's been a while. Shout out to everyone in the chat. AC, I see you. Armando, Cornelia Squalls, Plank. I see all the faithful in there. Unapologetic Truth, King Booker World. Everybody here, huh? Yeah, let's
Looks
talk
like
about
it.
these Bears,
Even
man.
Billy Ocean.
I've been gone for a long time, it seems.
Seems like about
I
a
know,
month.
A lot
right?
has happened. A lot has happened.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we can ready to dig right on into it too, man. Where we were at, I was trying to if you saw the thumbnail is has Justin earned the right to have a franchise built around him. And tonight we're gonna, whether good or bad, we're gonna make the case, and we're gonna start from when he got here, when Nagy was here, when Andy Dalton, Nick Foles. I think Nick told me he came in and started the game by week 5 or 4. I think he said.
Week 4.
Okay,
Week
so
three,
okay,
week three was the Bengals, and then week 4 was the full start against the Browns.
all right. So
Man.
either way, man, I didn't feel like even though I wasn't at practice, I don't know what kind of progress Justin was making. I think Matt Nagy had a plan to have him develop during his rookie season. I don't think by signing Nick Foles and Andy Dalton for the money that they did, apparently that was the mindset, was they felt like they had a team that I think they felt like they can compete and kind of move the ball a little bit. And I almost thought they did too. I felt like Nick Foles would be exactly what we need if Andy Dalton went down because of the year he had in Philly, man. I thought he was the perfect antidote to whatever might have went wrong that year. And I was totally okay with Justin sitting that year and getting used to whatever they were doing, even though I knew that if Nagy were to falter and his team would have faltered with all that money they spent on this team to build it and put us in the position that we were in, I felt like he was a lame duck coach. However, sitting Justin, I thought was the best thing that they could have done. Just let him learn, just because of the Patrick Mahomes story and how he sat down and it took him time to really get his feet under him. I thought that was going to be a good idea, but you know how the fan base is here. You can't really, hide a rookie like that when you draft him that high. They want to see him, and so they put pressure on Matt Nagy to put him out there. And I think Matt Nagy was doing a good job keeping the fan base and the media off of him. Like, hey man, look, we'll put him out there when he's ready. Don't push this. We want to take our time with this kid. And I think the media got the best of him. The fan base got the best of him, and they kind of pushed him out there exactly at the wrong time. And before I get carried away, I'll just let one of you guys take it from here. Since you at the top, Keith, go right ahead.
Well, I agree with you in regards to what Nagy's plan was, I think Nagy knew he was a lame duck coach as well, and thought he could hitch his wagon to Andy Dalton, which may give him an additional year. Unfortunately, Big Red went down, so at that time, for whatever reason, I don't even know if Foles was completely healthy at the time either, but for whatever reason, and then like you said too, because of Justin being drafted as high as he was, the fan base and local media put the pressure on Nagy, and Nagy faltered and put the young man in. With that being said, you know, you knew he had a plan for development because during training camp, Justin didn't take any reps with the first team at all during the entire training camp. So he didn't have any plan of that young man really playing. And again, he was forced to put him in, But, as they say in the NFL, you learn through it by being tossed into the fire. So he got thrown into the fire. We might not have liked the outcome of some of the games, but in the end, you know, I guess it worked to the betterment, you know. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. Kids, what you think?
I think it's all bad stuff, man, all across the board. If we're talking about Matt Nagy and the way that particular season went, he also had Nick Foles sitting around paying him a decent amount that he could have played, and he let what happened, right? He let the media influence him, and not just influence him, but influence the brass. The media influenced the brass, who then put pressure on him, to make a decision to throw Justin out. Justin was not ready. Justin should have stayed, should have sat on that bench and learned that offense inside out and backwards before starting. That's
kids, can I throw a layer into it for you to just going to add to what you're saying, really? The fact, now here's where I think Nagy, I think there was some maliciousness. Because I think, if you could have held him back at least one more week and not put him out there against probably one of the most ferocious defenses in the NFL, their front seven was absolutely just crazy. I mean, they're still crazy on the front seven. But the team that he threw him out there against, Cleveland, that was malicious to me. It's like, it was like, you know what? It was like, to me, it seemed like Nagy was saying, you know what, buttholes, I'm gonna put him out here and just give you exactly what you want. You think he's ready to play? I'm gonna put him out here and let you see for yourself. And I think that part was malicious, but I think he did it to fight the media.
So the
I
malicious
agree 100% with that, Nomad. You're on the spot with that.
The malicious part was not adding any additional protection or chips or anything to that effect on the offensive line, given that he's a brand new starting quarterback, never played with any of these guys, these receivers before, right? Like these are things that Matt Nagy could have done that day. So there was definitely some maliciousness. It was definitely a little bit of a thumb in the eye for lack of a better thing to say. That's it. It was a little bit of an attitudinal way to get back at back at the brass. They pushed down, play the kid. We drafted the kid high. We spent two draft picks on him, 2 first rounders on him, and I say that purposefully loud. Let's get some return on our investment. And this is the problem with the NFL. Why is Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes? Why is Jordan Love Jordan Love? And I'm not saying that Jordan Love is Patrick Mahomes. What I am saying is that there are 2 quarterbacks who had the luxury and ability to sit back in an offense, learn the offense inside out and backwards, and can now apply it.
Good example.
Very straightforward.
You mean like Aaron Rodgers?
Like Aaron Rodgers as well. Imagine Aaron Rodgers also did it, and so did Steve Young. And like the list of guys who were successful.
Tom Brady, about a year behind.
A year behind Drew Bledsoe. That's right. Tom got to sit and learn that thing. They didn't just throw Tom to the wolves, right? He learned the offense and applied it, and that's how you trial by fire doesn't always work, guys. It doesn't always pan out. Look at Wilson and the Jets right now. They just let him go and seek a trade. That's what's going on in New York. The reality here is they threw him to the wolves too. This happens all over the NFL.
Yeah,
and like I'm not saying that the kid is hyper talented, but I think he's decently. Like he has a decent sized arm. He's quick. What doesn't he have? Well, he doesn't know the offense inside out and backwards. He can't read defenses. He doesn't. Right. He needs more. He needs to be developed. And this goes for so many quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well,
right?
look at Trey Lance at San Francisco.
Let's just dash him out of here with a thing. But then you turn around and it's like, oh, but Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy got to sit behind Trey Lance. Brock Purdy got to sit behind, I believe it was probably Jimmy Garoppolo at the time for a little bit too.
For a little bit, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Learn that offense for a year. Spend a year within the system. Get it. Understand it. Oh, let's just change the system on Justin. Let's change it again. Just change it again.
I could definitely feel the pressure. I can remember that time like it was yesterday. I could sense that the ownership and the leadership in that building was just like, the media was just clamoring and clamoring. They wouldn't stop. I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't in the YouTube space, none of those spaces. But I can sense the energy just by, some of the reports that was coming out. Samo, man, my fault, Brian. I just felt like, okay, how long is Nagy going to be able to put up with this? How long is he going to be able to and it was just the fact that he put him out there in the Cleveland game. I was just like, oh no.
That was Nagy's way of saying F you to the brass and to the media for pressuring him. And sadly, it was at the expense of Justin.
Yeah.
And go ahead, Samuel.
Yeah, let me get in there. I'm gonna tell y'all what I think real quick happened. So if we go back and we think about this, remember that was the COVID year, right?
No,
there was no combine. There was no combine.
Yeah, I think that might have been the COVID year.
It was the COVID year. Yeah, definitely the COVID year. There was no combine. Justin Fields wasn't even supposed to be a Chicago Bear. He wasn't supposed to be available when we drafted.
Nope.
Ryan Pace masterfully orchestrated a trade with the Giants and got us Justin Fields, man, to try to save his job and Matt Nagy's job, right? So, if we looking back in hindsight right now, the 49ers should have drafted Justin Fields. They'll probably have a Super Bowl right now if they did that, because I think they would have been able to develop Justin Fields, and they had more built around the quarterback situation, and they had a pretty good infrastructure and a pretty good coach in Kyle Shanahan. So, that's what should have happened. But they tried to outsmart everyone. They take Trey Lance. The Jets go and take Zach Wilson. And then, lo and behold, there's Justin Fields sitting there for us to take him, and we got him. Then, so I don't think that the Bears expected Justin Fields to be available to them. I know Ryan Pace and those guys didn't, because if they did, they wouldn't have signed Angie Dalton and what's his name? Nick Foles at the time. Like, you don't do that. That just didn't make sense at all to have signed two veterans and then go and draft a quarterback. It created a crazy situation in the building at that point in time, is what I think. It's like, now you got Ryan Pace trying to save his job by showing the Bears ownership that, hey, I got us a franchise quarterback. I want this guy out there. This guy has to get out there so that they can see that I did a good thing. I may have missed on Mitch, but I just got us a franchise quarterback. So fast forward week 3, fast forward to training camp. Matt Nagy's like, no, I'm trying to save my job too. God dang it. And I know that rookie quarterbacks need to sit. He said, I came from Kansas City, where we sat Patrick Mahomes for a year behind a veteran quarterback. I have a veteran quarterback who I believe in right now that can win us enough games to get us into next season. I don't think that him and Ryan Pace were in agreement there. So then in week 3, when Andy Dalton goes down, we could have went to Nick Foles, but they go right past Nick Foles. Hey, boom, it's Justin Fields time. He's a go. And obviously, Matt Nagy did not like that, and it wasn't his decision. Because if he did, the game plan would have been much different. He didn't help that kid at all. What he tried to do was to show everyone that he is not ready. Justin Fields is not ready. You want me to put him out there? I'm all right. I'm going to put him out there, and I'm going to show you he's not ready for this. And that's what happened. And it was a sabotage situation. I think it was a split between the GM and the head coach, and Justin got caught in the middle of all of that, man. And he stuck. We didn't even have.
Yeah, it was Ted Phillips putting pressure in everybody. It was Ted Phillips for sure.
Could have been Phillips, but it was definitely.
It was like a fatal 3-way.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it was Ryan Pace as well, because all of them were on the hot seat, but Pace had the opportunity to say, hey, I got us a franchise quarterback, allow me to build around him. So he had to get Justin Fields out there on the field, is how he probably felt. But then all of them end up getting fired. Then we come in with the new situation, and we have to strip everything down. Not fair to Justin Fields. We get the wrong offensive coordinator in Luke Getsy, who.
Well, hold on, Sam. Before you go there now, because I know where you're going. Let me pause for a second because it through that crazy that Matt Nagy just pushed him out there into the fire like that. I thought it was gonna break him. I was like, oh no, they put him out there in this game and he don't get this stuff blocked up right, man. It's gonna break his mental. I was worried about that, but see, I felt like Justin Fields was tough, and that he had kind of that steel reserve to him. That whatever they put him through, he was gonna try to find a way to excel through it. And here's now my memory probably ain't as good as some of y'all's about that season. It's pretty cloudy. But I know he has some flashes. But the one game I believe that sticks out to me that I think was Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I think it was a Pittsburgh game. All right, and that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one that changed a whole bunch of people's mind about Justin Fields. So he persevered, and by the time he got to that Pittsburgh game, whichever week that was, I think that's when you start to see, all right, man, all right, we got the right dude finally. And then I'll let you guys take it from there. Let's talk about that Pittsburgh game. I don't know what week that was, Keith, but if you
I
can
thought
find
we had the guy that right then and there. That game for sure was
What
like
week was that,
Justin's our guy.
We're talking about the Cassius Marsh game?
I can't remember the week.
Yeah.
It was like
Cassius.
October. I just remember it being in October.
It was a night game,
And
which meant that was the only game going on at the time.
yes,
Well, I mean, the
prime
whole
time.
nation got-
It was a primetime game. It was a primetime
Yeah,
game.
it was.
It was
Yeah.
one of those
Monday
games
night,
where
Monday Night Football.
It was a Monday night game.
everybody's watching you, son. You got to be on your A1, and that's when he shines.
Yeah.
And so think about that.
Do we remember why he shined though? Do we remember why he shined? Remember
don't.
that's when the week before we got Nick Foles on the sideline mouthing Matt Nagy's offense just doesn't work. The cameras caught Nick Foles saying that. So then, and we knew this for the few weeks before that. We knew that Nagy's offense wasn't a good offense. So
It wasn't designed for
Bill
Bill
Laser.
That was week.
Bill Laser.
It was week 9. They lost 29-27.
Okay, so hold on, Samuel. I think that is the week that Laser was able to take over the play calling duties. Am I right?
Yep, Bill
Yeah.
Laser took over the play calling duties, and he had Justin playing under center. He
Right.
had Justin playing under center, which we haven't
had-
seen since.
He passed for 278 yards that game and had two touchdowns, I believe.
He had him playing under center. We were running play action. Justin was in rhythm, playing in rhythm with the offense. We haven't seen that since, man. I don't
Well,
understand.
well, the part of the reason too was because the offensive line was
No,
able to
Getsy
get
was
into a
doing
rhythm
it
because they
in,
was doing great.
last
They was
year,
doing
but not
great
this
run
year.
blocking. I'm sorry, Nick. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Getsy was doing it last year, the under center play action stuff. But this year he was like, nah, screw that. We'll go shotgun.
Balled it up and threw it away.
Well, this is the thing, man. And see, I knew we had the right guy from the time they drafted him because, I have been following the young man since he was in high school. So I knew what the young man was capable of. I saw what he did in the spurts when he got put in at Georgia, and then when he transferred to Ohio State, and they gave him the keys to the Maserati, he ran away with it. And the problem was Nagy had a plan not to play him at all, so therefore that offense was not designed to his skill set at all. So when he got thrust into it, it's unfortunate. You can't just redesign your offense midstream. So he had to work with what he had. But what really helped him was the fact that the offensive line was able to start really run blocking, which helped get everything going, open it up for the play action. And that's what really, when against Pittsburgh, that's when things just clicked for him then. And at that point too, I think Nagy and they figured out, okay, if we just get him out of the pocket, get him moving, so where we can move the pocket for him, things will open up, and that's what essentially happened for him. And from there, it seemed like it kind of unlocked some things, for the offense as a whole, not just for Justin, but for the offense as a whole, because now you got your offensive line feeling good about themselves because they're able to put hands on bodies, man against man, and win battles. And once they started doing that, and then they said, wait a minute, this kid got wheels too, that made it even easier for them.
All right. Well, before anybody goes any further, let me do something with you guys, and everybody in the chat can do this on their own. I think I just heard 2 checks of positivity. Like, all right, if you're looking for something, you got to be checking some boxes when it comes to a quarterback. I think resilience. Am I right? Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I think we checked the box for resilience, right?
Yes, sir.
Resilience. Yeah. Check. Played his best when the lights were the brightest. Check.
Check.
All right, let's keep moving. Let's go, kid.
Talk about the Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
Really? Man, all I gotta say is Cassius Smart. I don't have anything else. I don't like Justin played a fantastic game, but that game was lost on that call. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. I was very upset. Like, for a lack of a better thing to say, man, I lost my mind because it was completely egregious. Corrente just walked right back into Cassius Marsh, bumped into him, throws a flag. The worst part is Cassius Marsh attempted to dodge him. You can see this in the replay.
Actually, there was two bad calls.
There was a number of bad calls. There was a late hit on Justin. There was also there's also TJ Watt's double double fingers that they let go. That's fine, but Cassius Marsh trying to avoid a referee will.
What's his name? James Daniels got that flag for being out of the box when they was in the 10-yard line.
In the box, that's right. That's the other call too.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of.
And I'll give Matt Nagy a little bit of props for that game because he was fiery with the referees in that game. He was screaming at those guys, those refs. Those refs are not pleased with him by the end of that football game. And I just have to say, I'd like to see a little bit more of that from Bearded Floos, new bearded flutes, yo. Let's
I hope so. Yeah, me too.
I
want some goon to come out of him, man.
Let's do this. Let's do this, fellas. Let's do this. Because I think we already got 2 boxes checked. Resilience, and he played when the lights was the brightest, man. He was on Showtime. He showed up. All right. So let's go to
you gotta put toughness on there too, no man, because he showed he was tough after that first game. He took 9 seconds. He got up. He
mental
didn't,
fortitude.
He didn't tap out. He didn't tap out at all in that game. Like
the kids got mental fortitude, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll give him toughness. We'll give him a check there for sure. Mental fortitude, give him that too. But let's go to, because we can keep talking until Nagy got fired, and here came Flus and Poles, completely, and just toward the shreds. He ended up out there with Byron Pringle, Mooney, EQ St. Brown, Bayless Jones,
the kid from Iowa.
Let's talk about how Poles kind of came into the
Harry
foray, because he came in still paying Danny Trevathan, like that just came off the books. He's paying hundreds of millions. He's got $100 million contract with Khalil Mack. I believe like a $70+ million contract with Robert Quinn. Roquan Smith is coming up and around the corner. He's minus a first-round pick because that was Justin Fields. He's, I believe, also minus a second-rounder. He had to make do with what he had is really what he had to do in that first year, as well as cook the books and to flush all that money out. So, if y'all remember when Flus came in, the first thing he said was, I'm happy that I get to, work with a player like Khalil Mack. And Khalil Mack was gone by the time Flus got to that.
Yes, he did.
You know what I'm saying? He got to the locker room and Khalil Mack was gone. So we start in. Robert Quinn has a slow year. I guess like he's like every 2 years with Robert Quinn.
Yep.
Robert Quinn's gone a little ways later on. Now we got Roquan Smith. He's holding down the defense.
So we got a bunch of people. I get people doing this all the time on Twitter. When I'm talking about Justin Fields and reasons why I believe they ought to keep him, 10 and 28 is not getting it done. And here we are breaking down why 10 and 28 happened. We're at the very beginning parts of it. Why 10 and 28 happened. We'll give you some details, man. The line was shoddy.
All the context.
The receivers were, it's probably C minus D level as far as their ranking next to everybody else's in the league. And you complaining talking about the kid's record.
He also got rid of James Daniels as well, just to throw that out there, just to make that line a little bit worse.
Know what he did?
It was primarily a roster of replacement players, man.
You know what he did? We had
Akeem Hicks is another one that disappeared too. We also lost Akeem Hicks, right? Like there's such a list, like a litany of exodus that season, both defensively and offensively. And the guys that came back in were not caliber guys. Like we lost Allen Robinson, we gained Byron Pringle, we gained Equinemius St. Brown, we gained
N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry, thank you. We gained N'Keal Harry. Those were our replacements that particular season. But I guess it's all Justin's fault. He did everything wrong, and that's fine. I guess I don't know where you go with that, but that was the state of the Chicago Bears at that present time. That's what we looked like, y'all.
And out of all of that, only one that shined was Mooney. That was Mooney's best season.
Well, we're gonna get into.
It might as well be Mooney's best season, right? Who else?
It was Mooney's best season.
Mooney's best season. It was Bill Herbert's best season. Yeah. Like the two of them had a great season.
We're gonna get into that season, man. But let's start at the very beginning. Bring in two new guys, and they pretty much rebuild the front office. They get out there through training camp, and at the very beginning when Getsy got here, if you think about that San Francisco game, he got out under center quite a bit. It was 11, 12 personnel in that game. I remember it well, man. And everybody and their mother, because San Francisco was supposed to have won the Super Bowl that year, the year before that, and they was coming riding high, man. This was like considered the very best team in the NFL in a lot of people's eyes. And they went out there and put it on them. And largely due to Justin Fields' play. In the monsoon game, you want to give it an asterisk. Be my guest, but they both had to play under the same conditions, right?
I was going to say, why asterisk?
Well, you get a lot of people that want to refute that because it was so rainy and wet out there that day. But never mind all that, man. They went out there and put it on them boys. And Justin Fields played a huge role in making sure that happened. The plays he made off script, the plays he made from the pocket. I mean, he got down on them, man. That was supposed to be like the best team in the league. They went out there and sent them dudes a message led by Mr. Justin Fields. So let's just start there.
Well, if you think about it, that was the game where you had two guys out of the same draft class going up against each other.
Yep.
Trey Lance versus Justin Fields. Did San Francisco make the right choice? Did they draft the right guy at quarterback? What was amazing to me was you had mentioned Nomad about being under center because of the weather conditions. Just proved again that this young man can play under center.
He should be playing under center. It's not about
a lot more.
Can or can't. He's supposed to be playing under center most of the time.
Yeah, but you got some of these pass happy,
they could
coordinators who don't.
It more.
Yeah, I mean, but I think with this, we're going to stay on script. So that particular game, again, contributions to the running game helped a heck of a lot as well. The defense took care of their business, but we're talking about Justin Fields and what he did. Again, the whole fact of preparation, mental fortitude, leadership, all of that played into a key role to that particular game. And the fact that he rose to the occasion because of who was across on the other side, which was Trey Lance, it was a I got something to prove type game. And he did. And his troops rallied behind him and supported him. And I at that point I was like, okay, we cooking with something. You know, um, for me that
Right,
game
right there.
that's a memorable game for me.
That's another game that proves Justin's resilience, his leadership, his toughness, everything that we just mentioned just a few minutes ago. That game right there highlighted about Justin Fields
Yeah,
because
yes
he
it
was
did.
on a lesser team. If you went on paper, talent for talent, the Niners that should have just been a blowout. The Niners win, and
It was
whatever the
it was
weather was, both teams played in it,
it,
and
yep.
Justin and the Bears prevailed. That to me speaks volumes.
If you looked at the roster, you'd have considered it to be a scrimmage.
Yeah,
And I'm just being
exactly.
honest. I'm just gonna put it out there. If you look at lining up roster against roster, I know they're professional players, but it's like a scrimmage. It should have been considered a scrimmage for San Francisco and getting them
Yeah,
ready for their run that season.
So
To
what I
just
was
varsity
what
against
I
junior
was
varsity.
what I took from that game is, and this was week one of the second year of Justin Fields' tenure here in Chicago. New coaching staff, new GM. Um, they were here to clean up a budget problem that they had. They had to get some stuff off the books. That's just what happens when GMs come in. Most GMs come into situations because they want to rebuild the franchise in the mold of what they want. You're gonna get rid of pretty much half the guys you got on your team. So I don't know exactly how many people we signed coming to that year. I believe it was like 30 something people. 20 to
Yeah,
25, 30 something people. I don't know. But it was quite a few players. It was all brand new to the roster. And how they were able to get that going and get it clicking by game one was amazing to me. And that performance was absolutely amazing to me. And again, man, we'll start right there. But as it went on, fellas, as it went on, then you started really starting to see the holes as they actually were. The defense, as shoddy as it was, and the holes in the defense, they just couldn't stop anybody on the ground, in the air. I mean, it was absolute horrific. They got Justin Fields has got to go out here with a shoddy offensive line and try to perform miracles. And he did with his legs. That's the best he could have done under the
yeah.
circumstances. None of these guys could get separation outside of Mooney. And then it became apparent that Mooney was the only worthwhile target to really pay attention to. So they start doubling him. And then you playing from behind all the time. Justin Fields is trying to come back with a bunch of they weren't. I mean, it was just bad, man. Any quarterback with given that situation probably is going to fold. He's probably not going to even want to play the season. He's going to probably fake some injury. He's going to want to not go out there and give his best because he knows there's no chance to really win. It only took 2-3 more games after that to really realize that this team, we thought that they would be patching it up and make it good enough we can somewhat compete with teams. No, it wasn't even close, man. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even fair almost. But that's where we were at, man. Probably 3 games into it, we look. You start to see what this team actually was.
Plus, the whole time you had an offensive coordinator that was used of working with a potential Hall of Fame quarterback that was trying to put a square peg in a round hole for 2 years.
He was a rookie, right? He was a rookie coordinator trying to figure his way out too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'll give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. We all thought big things for Luke Getsy, and again, good. Congratulations to him on his new job and all that great stuff. But he was a rookie at the time. I didn't expect the world from him. It took him a little while to start to figure out Justin Fields as well. But the upside there during that little stretch, Justin was putting up about he was putting up decent numbers on offense. I think those games there for a little while were around 28 points a game. He went for a stretch.
Yes.
Hey, also, Kid,
He had a really good
Kid,
stretch.
Bink the
Went for
just made a hell of a point that what's his name, Allen Robinson had checked out by then too.
Allen
yeah.
Robinson was done.
Oh, for sure. A-Rod was missing. He was missing blocks. He was not playing he didn't care at all, and that's
Oh,
fine.
like Mooney this
I
year.
don't blame him for a second. And I'm
You
gonna
don't
flip it
blame
around.
him. You
No,
don't
I
blame
don't. I
him.
don't. I don't. Here's why I don't blame him, because I also
Man.
believe. Here, wait a second. I also believe very heavily that what he said was true too, and what he said was that for the most part, Matt Nagy had written him out of the offense anyways.
No excuse, kids. If you're on the field,
What
you
do you mean?
give it your all. You playing for your teammates. That's what I mean. I'm not playing for
Okay,
Matt
all right.
Nagy. I'm on the field.
So
If I'm on the field. We're in the
he's
locker
playing for a
room together.
check,
If
brother.
we're
That's
in the
yeah,
locker
he's
room
playing for a
together about you being phased out of the offense, give them a reason to put you back into the offense. You don't just check out on your teammates, man. That's and his career has declined ever since then.
Yes.
So that was a bad decision he made then.
I'm not
Right?
saying I'm not saying it was a good decision for either one of them to make, but I am saying that I tend to notice that when it comes when it comes time to pay a wide receiver, sometimes offenses tend not to put balls in their hands. Like I don't like it's a weird thing. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist.
No.
There was also
a good
talk
point.
about
It's a
him
good
not
point.
working with. There was also talk about Allen Robinson not staying after practice and working with Justin Fields to develop that chemistry that Darnell Mooney developed with Justin Fields.
Because he didn't expect to be, bro. He didn't expect to be here because he's not.
It doesn't matter your expectations about being here, though, kids. If you trying to get a new contract, you going. Well, how do you think that's going to look? Is that going to give him a better contract as far as checking out completely and missing whiffing on blocks and not catching balls? No. So what happened was Justin Fields. He had a good opportunity to have two good receivers. Darnell Mooney came in, and Darnell Mooney worked with Justin Fields, and they developed a chemistry instantly. Boom! They hit the ground running. 1,000-yard season for Darnell Mooney, instantly. All the other receivers didn't play well. We get no man's right. The first game, Justin showed his toughness. I had high expectations for the season because of the coaching staff they showed some bearings as well. Then we get all the way to the New England game. That's when we started taking off. That's when Luke Getsy started showing his bearings. I felt really good after that New England game and the stretch that went on after that you're talking about. Now, imagine if Allen Robinson was giving us his all too. We had a stretch where we were putting up like 30 points a game. We lost in that season. This Justin's first season, which gave me all the optimism in the world about this past season. We had 7 one-score games with the worst roster in the NFL. 7 one-score games. And a lot of those games, Justin was in position at the end of the games. We had drop passes, missed blocks, two fumbled punt returns from Bayless. They didn't give him the opportunity to get the ball back. Like, it was just error after
Offensive
error.
line penalties.
Offensive line penalties. None of those are on Justin Fields, yet they contribute to that 10-28 record, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get the opportunity he had opportunities to beat some really good teams too, some playoff teams. We almost beat Miami that year. We almost beat Philly that year. We had the Vikings that year, they were a really good team. We had them beat in Amir Smith, Marset, whatever. Fumbles the ball, trying to get some extra yards when he should have been getting out of bounds anyway. Like that's not on Justin. That was the team around him that was just not ready for what Justin had.
Can I add a little bit to it though? Because by the time we got to the New England game, would you agree that by that time I think they was experimenting with Justin through about 4 games, trying to see what he's capable of and how to use him. And by the time they got to New England, they probably figured out something, and you can kind of tell. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, they definitely did. They figured it out, and that's when we found out that Justin can run like a deer. That's the game we found out Justin can really run it and he can sling it. We booting him out a lot, getting him out in space. And for whatever reason, this year, Luke Getsy just chose to go away from all of that success from last year. For whatever the reason, he just said, you know what? Now let's run Aaron Rodgers' offense. I think you're ready.
No, look, Sam, you know what it was, and why are we dancing around it, man? Luke Getzey lied on his resume. The dude came in. He claimed that he had all this input with the offense at Green Bay. That he had all this hands-on experience with Aaron Rodgers. And truth be told, he worked more with the wide receivers. Okay, so when he came in, and when we're talking about the offense and Justin Fields, if you knew how to really implement and roll out your offense, why are you struggling as an offensive coordinator to create an identity for your offense? That was the biggest problem. You never had an identity. Every week something changed. You never did the same thing consistently week after week. Every week there was something that changed. Heck, for that matter, during each game, you switched up. You would start out something would work well for you, and then you go completely away from it. So you tell me during the week when you're preparing for the game, you're running certain plays during the week that you have scripted out, but then when the game comes, you don't even run any of those plays.
Yep.
So that I put that on the offensive coordinator not being able not only just to implement his offense and get his schemes going, he couldn't even coach his coaches.
Yep.
Your wide receivers your wide receivers can't get separation. That's on the wide receivers coach. You're not developing your wide receivers. You got a running
What's
back
funny
coach
about
that
that
you
is
ended
that
up having to fire.
he was a wide receivers coach, and that was
But
something that.
but that's that. But my point, once you become an offensive coordinator, you got to coach your coaches. He couldn't even coach his coaches, little less develop his players. So I go back to when something when everybody in the chat. Everybody on here, whether you're retired or you're currently working, you've had to submit a resume to get a job, right? This dude lied on his resume, man.
He did.
Period.
He did.
I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did. I
Man,
don't
the
think.
evidence is the
I
proof is
think
in the pudding, baby. And
Maybe they were just giving a young guy the
that
chance
pudding
to
wasn't
develop.
Jello, man. That was not Jello pudding.
Hey, hold on now. Hold up. Slow up. Apparently,
Hey, from the dollar store.
apparently, I think he got. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he needed to lie on his resume. I think Flus was looking for something. He was looking for something that was like I told people all the time. Me and Samo say this stuff all the time. There's if you watch Flus and you did study on Flus before as he became the coach, and you went back to see how he thinks. He said it multiple times on multiple different interviews. That was the toughest offense for his defense to cover. Because they stretch you horizontally. And what did they do? Throw a bunch of screen passes, quick game, and really make his defense run, and it kind of stretched your defense and created open lanes for running backs to run in, and open lanes in the middle of the field, and it really hurt him. And so he was looking for the type of offense that would do the same thing. And so I'm not going to get all the way into this year when he just went straight screen pass, but he started having ideologies about it then. I think they tried that early, and they ended up, Flus having probably having a talk with him by week 4, and by week 5 or 6, whenever we saw New England, then they started to do some things that really suited Justin and his capabilities, and you start to see all that stuff on display because they were trying stuff, trying to Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, and it just wasn't working. And I think without Flus's intervention or Brian Poles or whoever got to Flus, that would have kept going. Somebody had to intervene there and say, hey, man, you can't keep doing the same. That's the definition of crazy. You can't keep doing the same damn thing over and over again, getting your ass kicked. Dude, you got to stop doing that. We got to do something different. And so then that's when you start to see the game plan kind of morph a little bit, and you saw the Justin Fields, the real Justin Fields start to come out.
So I just wanted to touch on this, man. Things would be so different right now had the Bears taken their time hiring a proven OC with play calling experience 2 years ago. And man, Adamar, welcome to the show, brother. That's a great comment. I fully agree. There's it was one thing that they were hiring a brand spanking new rookie, never done it before head coach. But for the rookie head coach to then go and hire a rookie offensive coordinator and a rookie defensive coordinator, let's just throw that out there too. I thought that was a little bit much. I think there is some value in
throw
experience.
holes in that too. That was a first-time GM.
First time
GM. He was a first-time GM. He hired a first-time head coach who hired two first-time
coordinators.
Everybody was first-timers, bro.
Everybody learning on the job.
Can I throw a little bit of? Let me go through a little bit of negative for Justin Fields. I think he had a habitual problem with getting that ball stripped out of his grasp. He had a habitual problem because he would. I think him and Flus, I think, got together and they helped. They got together and if you notice, when he scrambles now, he scrambles with two hands on the ball. Back then, he was a one-hand scrambler. He had a pretty good grip on it, but them big old boys would knock it out of there because he just wasn't paying attention to his backside, and that's where most of them came from. But on the bright side, though, if you think about Justin Fields' career, he's got some picks, but he wasn't a habitual. He didn't habitually throw interceptions. He's a pretty safe ball thrower, or he doesn't throw it. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that has to do with I'd rather eat the sack than throw it in a compromised spot. I think there was a little bit of that was going on in his head too. And so I'll give him a check for, just not being one of those quarterbacks that habitually threw the ball in the wrong place and in the wrong spot, trying to fit too many tight balls where they don't belong. And he didn't throw as many picks as your average quarterback in the league, but he did have a habitual problem getting that ball knocked out of his hand.
It's not just that. So I'm gonna knock him a little bit here myself. You just walked me into it. Nomad, it's your fault. I blame you now. But the one thing that I wish that he did better, one of the main things is just, if the play's dead, get rid of the ball, bro. And he started to do that a lot more towards the end of this season, to be honest with you. But yeah, and I don't know, but before, there's times where he's running, you're running out of bounds. You know what I mean? You're running out of bounds. There's a defensive end
chasing you out of bounds.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, man,
and he did not protect his body well either, Cares. He wasn't protecting himself very well too, taking too many hits when he shouldn't have been.
Yep,
that's it,
absolutely.
Right? You're not going to take those hits if you get rid of the ball too, right? So you can just chuck it out there, man, and next play mentality and go with it, right? So
which is crazy to me because we saw that week after week after week, kids, and then to the point where I'm like, man, are they coaching this kid up, man? Are they telling him like, you can throw the ball away when this guy is chasing you? You don't have to take that sack. We're losing yardage here. Like this is college, you can throw the ball away, man. Throw the ball away. Don't take those extra hits, man. Like all of that stuff we didn't see that progression in just
Sam. Progression. The answer to your question, brother, if anytime they threw the camera on Getsy on the sideline, his facial expression should have given you that answer. He looked lost.
Yep, he definitely did.
He looked lost, man.
Getsy, let me tell you something. What I learned about Getsy real quick. Getsy, and this, every time I said this, sometimes I felt the fellas was tuned in to what I'm saying. Sometimes I didn't think people really got what I was saying, man. Because it sounds crazy when you say it on the surface. I don't think he has normal human emotions. Like he didn't. You have to have good instincts to really feel a game, like in the flow of it, to be able to adjust and not just read the damn Denny's menu, bro. You got to be able to, okay, I want to run this, but no, they're showing me that. This is these guys are coming over here on the sideline telling me, man, I can get loose on. It's like you never see nobody over there telling him, hey man, I think I can. You never saw none of that. You saw him by himself reading the damn Denny's menu, and it was just reading off plays, the next play, the next play, the next play, and it didn't make any sense in the flow of the game. And so pretty quickly, I started seeing like this dude has no clue. He has no pulse for the game. The good ones, the great ones, they have a great pulse for. Like I just saw the other day, fellas. I'm telling you, look for this. I think it was on. I want to say with Mike Florio, they had the D coordinator Spagnolo for Kansas City, and he was talking about when it got close, I think it was I don't know, right before overtime or right in overtime. If y'all remember, he sent pretty much a zero blitz after Brock Purdy, and he got a ball deflection or something. It was him on the sidelines. It was him had a play in his hand, looking at a play. But then, all right, for anybody that don't know, you can like the coach he could talk into the headset, but the player can't really relay nothing back. Only thing he can do is give you a signal and tell you whether he got it or not, give a thumbs up, head shake, head nod, or whatever. And he was telling the linebacker number 32 that, hey man, how do you feel about certain play? He gave him a signal, and the linebacker was just like really nodding his head really strong. Hell yeah, that's exactly the right play we need to run right there. You didn't see any of that with Luke Getzey. It was just him having a pulse for the game and trusting his players and what they was capable of doing. You never ever saw that with Luke Getzey. It was just his big Stewie head looking at that call sheet, and that's all he did. He just went to the next play.
DJ Moore alluded to the fact that Getzey doesn't want them coming up to him on the sideline. There was a question about that. He said that he doesn't want them coming up to him on the sideline when he's out.
That's ridiculous, man.
It is. I definitely agree with you because we watch NFL Network and all those clips where players go to coaches on the sideline and tell them what they see, and then the very next play, they're getting a touchdown or getting a blitz or a sack, just like you said. So I don't understand that either.
All the communication went through Janocko.
Yep, I was about to say that.
So that I just thought that was absolutely nuts. When I noticed that about him, I was just like, "Oh, Justin Fields is in trouble. This team is in trouble." I thought they was going to fire him at somewhere around mid season, but it never happened. But we talked about it on the show as to I remember telling the guys, "No, it ain't gonna never happen, man." Because actually I was still on the bar room, but I was talking about. I thought that they would make a change at the end of the season. They didn't. They kept the guy, man. But man, this dude, he had no instincts, man, no pulse for this game. And I just knew they was in trouble as long as he was there. And it just showed week in and week out. So Justin struggled, but he did make a lot of good things happen, given the opportunity that was presenting himself. So here they going to you know what? Let me stop right quick because Chris did give me a cue for a station ID. So Chris, go ahead and knock that off when you're ready.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at Night postgame. And every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms. And only on the Nomad Network.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got about 120 people in here right now. And I see a whole lot of new faces in there, new names. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the fam. Do us a favor because we all are Bears fans and everybody likes this content out here. Do us a favor, man. Even if we don't agree with each other, you guys, you come here to have civil discourse and talk about the do's, the don'ts, the whys, the why nots. And we agree to disagree at times, but just remember we're all Bears fans. And even if I didn't like you, I'd help you. So do us a favor and hit the like button if you're here and you're enjoying the content. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. You're just helping out Bears content creators keep it going for you guys. So that's all it's doing. It's painless and it's free, bro. So ladies and gentlemen, do those things for us and hit your notification bell as well. But let's keep going, man. Where do we need to go here, man? Because I can't remember much of that second season other than just turmoil, man. It was just a lot of turmoil, a holy defense, just a shabby makeshift offense that was, and Justin Fields just out there doing the best that he could. But you guys, if you guys had any highlights from that season that you want to highlight, good or bad, go right ahead, man.
For me, it was just the trenches, man. We were terrible in the trenches on offense and defense, which is why, we were getting gashed. On offensively, Justin was getting a lot of pressure up the middle all the time, and, which he struggles with and he continues to struggle with, and which I think any quarterback is going to struggle with. And then defensively, we couldn't stop the run. If you can't stop the run, then your defense is not going to be a good defense, which is why we put an emphasis on it this past year. We and we became the best run stopping defense in the league. But uh, that's what really killed that team. But even still, 7 1 score games. So I was riding a high coming into this year and seeing that we had the worst roster, the worst offensive line, the worst defensive line, and yet we were still in games for 7 of those games. We could have won. Single score games where the problem wasn't the quarterback in those games. Justin put us in position to win those games, and other players around him were making mental mistakes and physical mistakes that caused us to lose those games. So, like everyone else here, I was riding a high coming into this year and thinking and I had a lot of faith in the coaching staff because what we also saw last year was second half adjustments. We would be down in the first half and come back in the second half, and we coming out kicking butt. And we haven't seen that since last year. We didn't see that this year, but last year we saw those second half adjustments when they came out offensively and defensively. We would get a couple stops, man, to give the ball back to the offense, and the offense would put up some points. But there was regression in the coaching from last year to this year, and I think that also hurt Justin a lot.
Well, the fact that we didn't have an identity offensively really hurt us. What really carried
Hey, hold
us,
on, Steve. Don't
and that I
forget.
was
Don't forget, David Montgomery was a highlight for
well,
that year.
I was getting ready to touch on that, which is offensively, our run game really, really helped Justin do his thing, and then he contributed as well because just that season alone, and I got notes of that. He had 160 carries for 1,143 yards. The dude was averaging 7.1 yards a carry that season. So with that alone, and the offensive line took it upon themselves to say, "Hey, look, we're gonna block for our man. We're gonna make sure that we can run this football," and the play action helped them. So and that was something else I couldn't understand either with Getsy, which was that little part right there was working for you. You didn't stick with it. You didn't utilize it to your advantage, and say, okay, I got a guy that's got wheels. We can run the play action. I got a running back that's a dog. Let's just milk that. And it seemed like I said, he just stayed away from it. What worked good, it was like, okay, that worked good, great. Let me throw that away and let's try this instead. So sometimes I think coaches can hurt themselves when in the back of your mind, what should be a priority is not really a priority. You're auditioning to be a head coach versus just being a coordinator.
Also,
And
let
that's
me
what I felt with Getsy. I felt like he was more concerned about his future than what he had going on the field.
Keith, let me offer this to you right quick. Also, this is just something to
Please.
think about. Um, man, Khalil Herbert was terrible in pass pro. Man, he was out there
Oh
getting
yeah.
bum rush. Man, I mean, he was bad, bad. I mean, that year, man, I'm telling you, Khalil Herbert. I love Khalil Herbert, man, but that year he just wouldn't commit to blocking, man, and
Mhm.
he was causing a lot of like I look back at that season one
Yep.
time. I think this was probably 6, 7, 8, 9 months ago. I started really looking at that season, and I was just like, oh my god! Not only did we have problems at center, um, but it didn't help none that the running backs when they put Khalil Herbert in, he just wouldn't commit to pass pro, and it was just creating more and more turmoil from the middle of the field for Justin Fields is where you need to be comfortable, and so you started seeing Justin, spill out when he didn't really need to spill out and try to make stuff happen when he didn't really need to, and there was other times when he absolutely had to and actually made shit happen. And it was just I had to point that out, man, because that was a big, huge reason. And even so, it was times when David Montgomery got wheelbarrowed out there, man. It was a lot of times he got wheelbarrowed. They just the blocking schemes, the pass protections was, I mean, horrible, man. I'm telling you, you have to go back and look at that season to really understand what I'm getting at. I mean, it was a turnstile. You thought it was bad this year. I think it was double bad last year.
Agree.
Yeah, it was. It was. I've always felt Khalil Herbert at best was always our third best running back. That's just me personally.
I'm with you.
I
Sir,
mean,
Brian,
I'm
yeah.
with you. I'm with you.
well,
Word,
you
really?
know,
Wow.
Yeah.
especially this
Cold blooded.
season after mid-season, I thought even then he should have been relegated to being that third running back. I couldn't understand why this past season, why Dante Foreman wasn't getting more touches than he should have gotten. You
Bingo.
know,
Oh, don't get
so
me
he
wrong.
was in somebody he was
Yeah.
in somebody's doghouse. Whose I
Right.
have no idea, but that guy, I mean, what he did when he was at Carolina should have spoken enough to me to know that this dude can carry. He can at least be not. He don't have to be the bell cow. Between him and Rashawn Johnson, I felt that they could have really split split carries, from time to time, and Herbert come in and be that that switch up for us, But for whatever reason, you know, uh, I don't know if it was cause of practice. I don't know. And you couldn't say that he couldn't block because he was able. He was a decent blocking back. His pass pro
Hmm.
was decent, better than Khalil's.
Yep.
But he didn't see the field enough. I
I think
believe had
he.
he seen the field more, those 3 games that we lost, we had
Could have won.
opportunity had he played to win those
Yep.
games, man.
Yep.
I
I
didn't, and
agree.
then when he did play, then he have a couple good runs, and he never saw the field again after that. And I didn't understand that. And I'm like, what is
Hmm.
going on?
Well, let
And
me
I
if you
did.
want to change, if you want to change a pace back, put Bayless Jones there.
Hmm.
There you go.
Yep.
and let me let
Yep.
me
Yeah.
let me speed up the process because we're an hour into it and we only into season two, making the case and breaking down particulars as to why we saw what we saw out of Justin Fields, why the 10-28 happened, why the low passing numbers happened, why we didn't get the consistent performance that everybody was looking for out of Justin Fields. Why did you only see flashes out of Justin Fields, here or there, in certain games? And it was because of a lot of different things, which everybody doesn't take time out on their podcast to break down, but we choose to do it here on the Nomad Network. So here we are. Let's just jump and say we finished year two. So we're going into year three, and let's just go because I haven't heard Samo much tonight. What did we do in the off season that year? What did we do? I can't actually remember. I know that we got who did we get? Uh,
Last year.
who
Last year we get DJ Moore.
we
That's
got?
when
We
we
got
get DJ Moore. We got Chase Claypool, who had the opportunity to have an off season and try to learn the offense, which we didn't talk about that from the first second year.
Go
But
ahead. You can talk about that, man. I might have
a little
jumped the
bit.
gun.
So yeah, I forgot about that. But I mean, that was just a bad situation to for Chase Claypool to walk into. Obviously, uh, in middle of the season when the Bears were trying to figure out their own identity, you want to try to and put another new player into that situation. And Luke Getzey, being a first year offensive coordinator who's also learning on the job, just didn't know what to do with Chase Claypool. He could have just developed a package of plays to get Chase Claypool going, but as opposed to doing that, it seemed like he was trying to get him to learn the entire offense and have him learning multiple positions at one time. And Justin had an injury in between time, I want to say, and they never really got on on page together. It just seems like they were always out of sync. And fast forward to this past year where we go and get DJ Moore, and then we have a Chase Claypool, who we know has had an off season, and we get the training camp, and these guys are clicking. We're hearing about Chase Claypool and Justin having a good rapport, and the 1-2 connection with DJ Moore was just like automatic. And we get Donta Foreman, who we allow David Montgomery to leave, and we were all happy about Donta Foreman and the rookie and Roshan Johnson, and we still had Khalil Herbert as our running back, and we all had higher expectations for Bayless Jones, and we all thought that this year was going to be very good because we saw some progression from our coaching staff. We saw when we needed to get stops the year before, we got stops and got the ball back to the offense. We didn't. We saw that our offense had the opportunity to put up a stretch where they were scoring 28 to 30 points a game for about 6 or 7 games. So we were all high. And then we got a better offensive line. We went and got Nate Davis. So we're like, Cool. And we get Darnell right. We like, oh, offensive line gonna be good now. We're gonna be good on the offensive line. We were none of us were happy about not getting the center, but we all felt like, okay, we're gonna trust in Poles and the coaching staff and say, no, we're gonna roll with it. We get into the season, man, and it just seemed like the regression was immediately noticed, man, in the coaching staff.
Put you on pause because that like
Yeah,
once
hold
you
on,
get
Kid. Before you go, let me throw a little nugget out here. My guy Rusty is at the combine. He said he just passed Caleb in the hallway. He said he's not that much bigger than Bryce Young as far as his height, but he did say he's a lot thicker. He said, but he's not prototypical. He just wanted me to share that with y'all. My guy Rusty, he's a regular to the show, one of no maniacs, man, and he wanted you guys to wanted me to tell you guys that he just passed him in the hallway. He's not very much taller than Bryce Young, but he's thick. So he just wanted me to pass that on. So I just did that. But my bad, kids. Go ahead.
I'm not sure where I was, and I can't comment on a kid's height until they measure him. So, do you think for those kids who aren't? I know this is completely off the topic we were really on, but those kids who aren't, you know, participating, quote unquote, you think they'll get or give measurements?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're participating in that. They're doing all of that. They're just not gonna
Yeah.
do any throwing or any catching.
Running and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Interviews.
they'll do the interviews.
Outside
And
of the
all
only
of
one
that.
I think is not gonna go through anything
I mean,
medical
what was the
is
question, man?
MHJ.
What was the question? I was typing back to Rusty. What you say?
The measurements, man. Do you think that those will show up
Oh,
at the combine for the kids who've decided not to participate?
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna be at the combine, they can choose what they like. You can accept the invite. I only know this because I know a few guys that went. Um, they poke and prod the hell out of you, man. But you can choose what you don't want to participate in. Like it's guys that are only going to be doing broad jump and 40, or just 40 and shuttle, and they'll just put their sweats on and go chill out. You could choose what you want and what you don't want to deal with. That's more and more common nowadays. I remember it was a time when you got invited to the combine. You got to just take whatever they're going to do to you. If they want to sit there and squeeze your butt all night, you got to let them do it. You know what I mean? They want to check your body fat that way, whatever.
Combine.
I'm just saying, pause. I'm just saying, man, they get poked and prodded all kinds of different ways out there, man. That's why I understand. But yeah, if you depending on who you are, if he chooses, he can choose pretty much to do whatever he wants to do. If he don't want them measuring him, he can just have that done at his pro day. You know, that'll be that, and it'll be a favorable measurement because it'll be his coaches.
It's gonna be done though. It's gonna be done. It'll be out soon.
They're gonna get him one way or the other.
Yeah.
If they get him in, like if they brought him to Hallis Hall for a 30, they're gonna get everything they need out of him, man. Whether it's measurements, weight, body fat, anything they want to know about him, who the last person his mama dated, whatever they want to know, they're gonna find out. Yeah, it's the truth.
That's the truth. You're right.
They gonna know all that stuff, man. But yeah, man, let's just jump and let's start the beginning of the season. We went and grabbed did some really nice free agency signings, man. We got some nice free agency signings, and we revamped our linebacker core. We went and got Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards. I think those are the two most brilliant moves in the offseason, to be honest with you. I thought more highly than most people for both of them, and they turned out to prove me right. Tremaine Edmonds started off slow because he didn't pretty much missed all the training camp, and he was out of shape, and you can tell. He
got hurt, man. He got hurt.
Yeah, and he didn't have any wind out there, and he looked lax. I mean, he couldn't get to the ball, and when he got there, he was slow and really couldn't wrap up, and just was winded. That's just what I noticed. But man, good off season. We still didn't address the offensive line the way I thought that we should have, but I felt pretty decent about going into the season. But the offensive line ended up being, and I got to apologize to Ken Davis because I told him on the show, he was just like, man, Nomad, dog, you don't know what you're talking about. They not going to be able to do nothing with this shoddy offensive line. They didn't address the hole they need. I'm like, dog, I think they're doing good with picking up guys. I think Bryson Jones is decent. He was trying to mature at his game. But look, I still think Braxton Jones is going to he could be a good swing tackle, but it proved to me this year that he's not a starting caliber left tackle, in my opinion. And I think that haunted Justin the entire year. Whenever he was on the field, he was worried about the noise coming from the left side. You can see it on tape. You don't just have to listen to me tell you. Just go look at it on tape. You can see him compensate. But I just wanted to start there. Go ahead, Keith.
Well, the inconsistency on the offensive line started during training camp. I mean, Nate Davis hardly didn't even really participate in training camp at all. We know he had some personal family issues going on. Um, Tevin Jenkins in and out with some little knick-knack, tic-tac little injuries, and the biggest problem I felt they never addressed center. They were so hell bent on keeping Lucas Patrick at that position. When you went out and brought in Feeney, I didn't understand why they didn't just roll with him
Mm-hmm.
at center.
So that's what I put Sam on pause for a little while ago. They wanted to go with Cody Whitehair in the beginning, if you remember. Remember how Pulse came out at the press and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna go with Cody Whitehair." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh man," because I've seen Cody Whitehair play center before, and it wasn't great.
No,
right? He's a fantastic guard under normal pretenses, but snapping the ball, he's traditionally had some trouble snapping the ball. I wish I could say that he didn't. And if that's cleaned up, go Cody, right? I got no problems with Cody at center. He has experience. As long as the snapping has been cleaned up. That's my biggest problem with the whole offensive line case scenario too, Keith. They waited for an exorbitant amount of time to really clue into the fact that we might have a problem with snapping with Cody.
Well, the thing was with Cody.
Hold on, guys.
But
you know what's snapping? You know what's snapping the ball, and you know what that does, man. When the ball doesn't hit the quarterback's hand on time, when the receivers are taking off into their rights, and
it throws the entire play out of time.
Completely
but you know how you but you fix that by putting your quarterback under center.
Yeah, right.
Cody Whitehair's biggest problem was snapping in the gun. So why are you constantly putting him in the gun when you know that's an area that he's weak?
That you have
Put your man under center.
That's weak with it. Get him under.
It would be probably about a half a second. I mean, I literally half a second of a difference in having a high snap, low snap. If Justin wasn't a guy that spun to the laces, he spins the ball to the laces where he can get his finger grip on the laces. If anybody ever noticed that about Justin, you watch film, you'll see that every time that he gets a snap. Every quarterback doesn't do that. They'll take the ball and throw it. That's one of those things. It's one of those quarterback quirks that not all quarterbacks have, but a good majority of them do. They have to feel those laces.
But Nomad, I hear you on that. But again, if you practice something, that's what practice is for. Practice. So if you practice, you can get it corrected. But when you don't practice it because you're just hell bent on not doing it,
I'm getting there.
So that's again, I put that on coaching.
All of it is
I put that on coaching.
I'm getting there. So when you got a guy that you got a guard center that doesn't snap the ball well in shotgun, got that problem, number one. And so now you throwing off the rhythm of the play by about a second. And so now, and probably a second and a half because he's got
more second and a half.
So 1,001 and a half. Now you got that problem, and you keep having that problem, and not identifying that, okay, we need to change something, having the pulse for the game and having a sense for what's going on, live action, changing that up, put him under center because Cody's having a problem snapping the ball. Let's just change this up, go to plan B. You knew all week. You ain't gonna tell me it didn't happen until game day. You ain't gonna tell me it didn't happen until game day. You saw that shit all week in practice, and you still went out there and kept them in shotgun primarily most of the game, and you suffered. And so here's another major point of why we lost games. Stuff like that. Yep. It's just stuff like that. Little stuff like that. I mean, kids, you know what? Before I get carried away, I see you holding your mouth. Go ahead, man.
No, I'm laughing at how simple the fixes were for Lugetzi, right? Like if simply putting the kid under center avoids the snap issues that we dealt with Cody White here, and sometimes Lucas. But let me say, I'm going to say thank you, Lucas Patrick, as well. I gave a little props to Cody White here before. Thanks, Lucas Patrick. The other people have problems with him because he gets hurt quite frequently. But these big boys on the line are gonna get hurt, which requires depth. We need depth at those positions. Lucas Patrick was able to come in, snap the ball, play the position for a couple of solid games thereafter. After we started to make a shift at center, but if just putting him under center would have affected that snap case scenario, you'd think that he would have caught it earlier on, right? I don't know. Just me.
And then
Well,
on top of that,
narcissistic behavior can't be changed, brother.
Keith, hold up 1 second. On top of that, they were still trying to run screenplays off of those high snaps and low snaps.
Yep. Quick pass.
How the hell you gonna do the quick pass game and you don't have a center that can get the ball in the quarterback's hand on time?
And not only that, the snaps are unorthodox, man. The way that he snaps the ball is not like a normal center snaps the ball, where it spins back to the quarterback, and the quarterback can catch it and spin it to his laces and get rid of it. No, he floats the ball back to you, which is why the ball was going on. He grabs the tip of the ball, floats it back to you, and now the ball's going up high. You got to try to grab it and then spin it real quick and all this other stuff. Like, they put Justin at a complete disadvantage when they decided to put Cody White here at center. Like you said, man, it was idiotic, man. And the fact, like you said, that they chose not to move him under center and chose to allow this to happen for so long was just
to refuse putting him under center, like outright refuse it with the issue with the snapping is odd to me. Like that's odd. That's kind of suspect to me for sure. But hey, Luke Etsy, do what you're gonna do, I guess. And what you're gonna do is get yourself fired. That's how things played out.
Real talk. That's why I was upset with Flus about that too, because you're the head coach. You're witnessing and allowing this to happen. At some point, you could just say, "Hey, you know what, Luke? The experiment is over. Like, let's do this. Let's get him under center, especially in critical situations in the game. You have to get him under center. Let's get him under center and play from there, or until we get one of these other guys healthy, and then we're gonna have to rotate them out."
I don't remember. Did Lucas Patrick, did he miss any of training camp injury wise?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Yes, he did.
I think that might have been the reason why they went with Cody in the first place.
I mean, there was inconsistency the entire training camp, man. They never had any. That offensive line did not start playing together consistently until week 10.
Yep.
Week 10.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I'm gonna say this again. Other podcasts will come in there and make these broad accusations against Justin Fields and say he's not enough, he didn't do enough, and he's not what we thought he was going to be, and he doesn't do this, he doesn't throw with anticipation, he doesn't read the defense, all that silly SHIT without giving you the nuance as to why some of the things that were happening was happening. Here we are taking our time for an hour and a half now. For an hour and a half, taking you through from when he got here and the things that happened and in the sequence that they happened and why. And and at the end of the day, Ryan Poles, and we're going to finish this by talking about, with all of that, it came together through all of that. It came together right towards the end of the season, and they started to trend. They started to beat teams that didn't appear to, like, they could have beat Cleveland. They could have beat Detroit at Detroit, should have. Beat the SHIT out of them in Chicago. This is a team that almost made it to the Super Bowl. And so with all that being said, you talk about he's not a good enough quarterback. We need a generational talent. We need an elite level QB. How you know you don't have one? How you know you don't have one? You don't know that you don't have one. Why? Because you haven't seen his ceiling. The kid has barely scratched the surface. You know who knows that outside of this network right here that keeps hammering on and on about it? Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, Kevin Warren, George McCaskey, and all the people in that building, the locker room, everybody damn knows it. Everybody knows it. But people want to carry on about what he is and what he isn't. How in the hell would you ever know until they put the right infrastructure around the kid and give him the weapons that he needs? You got the defense right about where you need it to be, minus a piece or two or three. You know, get him the artillery that he needs, get him the infrastructure in front of him that he needs, and the flashes become regular and more regular, and it becomes the norm. If you couldn't see that towards the end of this season, and the way this team was trending, and the way they was able to start putting it together and kind of work with his talents, and he was starting to really get that ball. I think that injury in the at the beginning of the season when Baja came in for a few games, I think
The
that
thumb
really,
injury.
yeah, I think that really gave him the ability to really kind of observe and kind
Yep.
of see some things. All right, I can't do that better. I can't check this ball down more often. I shouldn't have to take
Hmm.
off here. I just dump it off to Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, and let them go get it. And you start to see that more often. He was getting that ball out on time. He didn't see some boom. It was right off to the dump down. And you start to see that, and that's when things start to change. I start seeing a new Justin Fields. You know who else sees that stuff? The people that scour over the tapes every day and they looking. Flus and them, they've been looking for that from Justin Fields. Just do that. Get that ball out of your hand and let playmakers make plays. And you start to see it. You think for 1 second. Now, Post could do something completely opposite of what we're talking about here, but I don't think he will. I think this dude got his cards up to his chest for a reason. He's driving up the value, and he's doing everything that he can do for this organization by making that pick more and more valuable by keeping his cards close to to his chest, and being ambiguous about his wording about whether they want to keep Justin Fields or not. He should do that, shouldn't he? And at the same time, be on the phone with Justin and his people. Hey, look, this is how it's got to play out this way in order for me to get what we need to get to make this team what it needs to be. I think that's now in my heart, my instincts tell me that's what's going on. I don't know
So
about y'all. I think Justin proved it to me through all that BS. He was able to make hay through all of that BS.
I want to touch on another coaching issue that's also a Justin Fields issue, and that's the way that he comes out of shotgun, his drop back, right? So there was talk early into this season about Getsy changing his drop back, and now he does it with the other foot. And I don't know, y'all, but since the beginning of this season, his drop back is lackadaisical, and it's probably the best word that I can use. He's not coming out of shotgun 1, 2, 3, ready to go. He's kind of 1, 2, 3.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And I think he's processing. All right, I'm gonna go with the other foot now. So I'm going with the other foot, and I got to pay more attention and judge things a bit differently than naturally when I was coming out naturally before.
Yep.
I
And
think
that's
it's that.
natural.
I think it's that kids, and I also think it had something to do with the route concepts, and because all the majority of Getsy route concepts were deep concepts, he had to buy himself a little bit of time to allow his guys to get downfield as well. So yeah, his drop back was a little lackadaisical, but I truly believe he was thinking too much with regard to how they changed it up to where he never looked comfortable. Let's just be honest.
Never
He
looked
never looked
comfortable.
comfortable. So when you're not comfortable and you're having to kind of think through the process versus it being muscle memory for you, you know, and to pivot back to having the 4 games off and then when he finally returned, I think too, besides him having a chance to kind of sit back and watch and learn and take in some things, I think he just took also the attitude, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go play ball and let the chips fall where they may. And at times he took matters into his own hands, and at other times he said, you know what? I got to expose this dude for not being a good play caller. So I'm gonna run some plays that he wants to run to show you that this guy don't know what the hell he's doing. But at the same time, when I need to, I'll take the game into my own hands along and had this conversation in the huddle with my receivers and my line and say, okay, look, this is what we doing, y'all.
Hmm.
And and it looked like it was within the confines of the offense, but there was a few times when they ran some plays, and they were positive plays, and when they came off the field, and the camera was good at taking certain shots, you can look at Getz and he had a look on his face like, what the hell was that? Because I didn't call that.
Yeah. I don't know what was going on, but I agree with kids, man. It wasn't natural for him, man. It didn't look good, and it didn't look good. It looked short and choppy. Uh,
Oh
but
yeah,
I
definitely
do
did.
understand why he wanted to do it, though. If you think about it, you put your right foot up and your left foot back on that third step. Then you, on your third step or your fifth step or your seventh step, your right foot is all the way back. It's already supposed to be back at
You're
that point.
ready to
So I,
go. You're
and you're
ready.
ready to go. So I understand why he wanted to do it. But if it's not natural to a guy, he's not going to learn that in on one off season. And you seeing it not natural for him to be able to do that. So go back to what's natural, man. Make it easier for him. You know what I mean? Allow him to be him a little bit more. And that's the problem, I think, with the entire setup of the whole coaching staff. I think it was a failure from the beginning when they hired Luke Getsy, because Luke Getsy wasn't hired to be the quarterback for Justin Fields. He was hired to come and implement a system. And I think that was the failure of Matt Eberflus, and I would have to say Poles as well, because they didn't hire him for Justin Fields. He was hired to bring in Green Bay's offense. You know what I mean?
Well,
And we should have been getting a guy that we knew was going to be able to help Justin.
that's the whole thing with everybody being new.
Yep.
Poles being a first time general manager, Flus being a first time head coach, Getsy being a first time offensive coordinator, because they couldn't bounce any ideas. You look at Getsy, oh, he came from Green Bay. Oh, look what Aaron Rodgers did. Yeah, that system's great. Let's try that. I mean, that's appealing
Hmm.
until you see that Getsy was over his head. By then, it was too late. Two
Here's the
years too
problem.
late.
Hey, I
Here's the
got a
problem.
question,
Hold on,
guys.
sir.
Think about
Hold on 1 second. I got to get this in before I forget because I'm looking at some stuff down in the chat. But this is something I had in my head while Samo was talking. And talking about the footwork. Here's why I think it was a bad idea to do it. It wasn't just it. Well, I don't think it was a bad idea to do it. I think it was a bad idea to do it while you're installing new stuff.
Yep.
He's trying to
right.
learn that offense, and
Exactly.
then he's subconscious about how he's operating with his feet at the same time and the speed of his drop.
Hmm.
Left foot, you're trying to change something while you're installing a brand new system, which I know is
Yeah,
absolutely difficult at the same time. That's a lot to think about while you're back there.
yeah.
And he, again, Justin's resilience, probably breaking his neck trying to get it down to a science. You know what I mean? And it looks shoddy on the field sometimes. And he probably
Here's the playbook, and by the way, you got to learn it under a different language.
it's just until you see the complexity of a West Coast offense and everything that you got to get drilled into your head. Until I saw one, I was just like, dog, I don't know I don't know how y'all do it over there, man. But they were just like dudes was telling me like, dog, you once you see it enough, man, you keep seeing it, you take it home, you go outside in the yard and you go to the mirror, you repeat the stuff to yourself in the mirror so you can kind of see yourself saying it and hear it coming back. You go in where it's echo. I mean, people used to do all kinds of stuff to try to get that stuff ingrained in their head so that by the time they got to meetings, they would, if the coach started quizzing them, they'd know exactly what to say. But a lot of times it was just dudes would be kind of confused. And you wonder why people like Valus Jones are sitting on the sideline, he wasn't playing that much. Or,
Right.
stuff like that is everybody don't get it at the same speed. And
Hmm.
so luckily Justin just sharp like that and adaptable, and he was able to absorb it and try to work on his footwork at the same feet work at the same time. That is more difficult for a quarterback than anybody can imagine. You
Hmm.
trying to get new information ingrained in your head, how to check plays, read the defense, call out the mic, make sure your offensive line is lined up correctly. You got your pass pro, whatever it is that he's got to do pre-snap. All that information, and then you got to make sure your drop is quiet and clean with your feet. And that's crazy, man. And why mess with that when it wasn't bothering anything?
Well, my question I was going to ask is this, and it could be a stupid question. Is it possible that you can be so coachable that you can be to your detriment?
That's the
You
problem.
because
That
you
was
want
his
to please
problem.
your coaches so
That was his
bad that you're willing
problem.
to try things even if they're
Yes,
unnatural to
He's
you
a Marine.
because
that was his problem.
you don't want to seem like
Good soldier.
like you're going against the grain
He's a
versus
Marine
saying, you know
son.
what, that just don't feel comfortable to me. I
Yeah,
haven't,
he's a
you
Marine
know,
son.
so it could be you so coachable to a debt to your own detriment.
Too
I
good of
don't.
a
I don't.
soldier.
I don't.
Just a good soldier. He's always gonna listen to the
Just
coaches
get
and do
killed.
whatever they
Soldiers
do.
get killed all the time,
I don't
right?
consider that as a flaw. I see that as only thing I would have had a problem with Justin about is he probably didn't BICTH enough.
Yeah,
About
Well, that's what I mean.
that's what he
That's what I
means
mean.
about being a good soldier. That's what he
Yeah, that's what I
means.
mean. To his
he's a
detriment,
Marine. He's a
instead of saying, "Yo, man, that
hold
just
up,
ain't working for me, bro."
hold up.
Yeah.
He's a Marine son, and so that comes with a certain trait. I'm friends with two Marine kids. You know what I mean? And
I'm
they
the son of a
became
Marine, bro.
and see, my thing is this: I know what kind of people they end up being, and they take orders, they take instruction, and they accept it. You got to be a certain kind of person to do that. I think he came up short by not. He started voicing it. I think was it right before, or right after Claypool did that. He started to voice it a little bit like, "Hey man, you doing too much. You talking too much. I don't need all that while I'm trying to get ready for the play." And he kind of voiced it, and had to end up walking it back and going out there and giving him a hug and doing all that stuff for the media. That's another good trait to him. He was being a good soldier then. The media ran with that man and tried to turn it into something else, and all he was doing was voicing his opinion. He ended up being right because they ended up firing the whole coaching staff, offensive side of the ball. And so, man, look, let's finish this off like this, fellas. Tonight, we took you from the beginning all the way up into the current. We made hella points about the situation that Justin was given. Detailed the nuance about from beginning to the season to the end of the season, why things look the way they look from till now. My question is to you guys is the exact question on the thumbnail. Has he earned the right to have a team built around him? Yay or nay? And just be quick about it so everybody gets a chance to get in here. Keith.
One simple answer: yes. I feel he has definitely earned the right to at least have the opportunity to be coached by Shane Waldron and his coaching staff. He's earned it. I think polls know he's earned it. And in order for, I really think the only way he's even traded, if that's the case, is it would have to be a deal that you just simply cannot pass up.
I don't know, bro. And that's why we're having this conversation. I can't be the guy to say
Wait a minute,
yes
all
to.
that and you don't know?
Come
I
on,
don't.
kids. Come on,
No,
kids.
no. Give me a
Stand on
second.
something, kids. Stand on
Here,
it.
I'm standing on the reality.
Yeah,
I'm
we just
standing
do this
on.
whole damn show for it, man.
Stand on it, bro.
Hey,
Stand
man.
on it.
I'm standing on the reality of the world. We wouldn't be having this episode of this show
It was just one
if there wasn't
He
some
earned it.
level of
Did
ambiguity
he
out
earn it?
there about what
Has
we're
he
talking
earned it,
about.
kids?
Has he earned it?
I don't
Has he
know.
earned it?
What I
Let
hope
the
and pray,
man
though,
answer.
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna
thank
bust
you.
his ass if I want
What I
to.
hope, stop. What I hope and pray is that Ryan Poles knows. That's all. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't. There's only one man that it matters to, and
Bingo.
I gave you his name.
Good answer, kids. Good answer. I like it. All right.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I can't go total stone cold Steve Austin, but yeah, and that's the bottom line.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Go ahead, Samo.
I'm gonna say yes too, man. He earned it because he inherited some bad situations. Just went through 3 years of bad situations, man. Wasn't all him, and he made the best of those bad situations. Where we had, if we just look at the last 2 years, 7-1 spoiler games last year that he had the opportunity to win and possibly get us into a playoff situation where the players around him weren't good enough. This year, breakdown in coaching, and the offensive line never got the continuity. The receivers couldn't get separation. Everything just wasn't on him, man. Yet we still had the opportunity to get into a playoff situation. So I'm gonna say yes because if we can gain some draft capital and build better players around him offensively, then man, the sky might be the limit for this dude. So yeah, I say he earned that opportunity to show us what he's got, in a good situation with better coaching and better players around.
I would say this, man. I just know this, man. When I look at the total body of work since he got here, and I watch it all and seeing how it all played out, there's nobody that will be able to stand in front of me with a straight face, and I can respect them and come up to my face and tell me that they don't think Justin's earned the right to have a team built around him. That all of the shortcomings that Justin had as far as his stats, what didn't go right, and hanging out all that on him. Did he have some shortcomings? Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have some shortcomings too if you put in that situation, like an MF. Trust me
Exactly.
when I tell you, you're gonna have a lot of
Who
shortcomings.
hasn't?
He
Who
he
hasn't?
he minimized his and was still able to thrive somehow and gave us flashes of greatness that they know inside that building. If they put some pieces around this dude can charge them. When you go and kick the crap out of Detroit, it's a well-built team. That is no, I'm telling you, though, if you do nothing else, no maniacs, watch the two Detroit games. What they did to Detroit in their own house, what they did to Detroit in our house, led by Justin Fields. That is an indicator for a GM, a coach, and a front office to say, oh my God, that's what I've been waiting on. Detroit almost was in the Super Bowl. They almost got to the Super Bowl. We beat the snot out of them twice. And Justin Fields was a key to it. And so what I'm telling you guys is you guys, we're all out here we're outliers, really we are. We're all on the outside looking in. Even, some of us know football really well, man, and we can give you detailed conversations about it, but we only know so much. Inside that building, there's a different conversation that's going on right now. And I don't think it's quite the one you guys might think it is because of some of the stuff I just said right there. I think they saw some things towards the end of the season that gave them absolute proof that they were on the right track with this kid. I could see Pose's energy when he came down from the press box or his suite to come on the sideline because they felt like they had that game won in Detroit. He came down there and he was a happy lark. But that game that they beat Detroit and Chicago, man, Pose knew what he had right then and there. I'm a body language reading effort. And I know that he knows what he has and he knows that he can build with this kid. And so you can believe what I got to say or anybody else on this panel if you want to. I'm still guessing at the end of the day. That's just what I believe. But we'll go around the horn. I think we did our job trying to make the case for Justin, whether he deserves the right or not. I think everybody made good points tonight, man. I appreciate you guys, my brothers. Everybody was passionate, man. I love the objectivity. I love the passion everybody came to the table with, man. It was fun. But let's do some pleasantries before we get out of here, folks. Go ahead, Keith.
No maniacs. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Really do appreciate it. Definitely appreciate everybody chiming in the chat. It means a lot. It helps us, put out the content as well as just make sure that we're on point with everything. I really enjoy jumping in the chat and kind of chopping it up with you guys as well. To my brothers on the panel, as always, it's always great just talking Bears football with you guys. I look forward to it, man. It gets my juices going. And with that, I just wish everybody have a good night and look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
Back at you, Keith, man. Always fun to be on the panel. Always fun to do this. No maniacs. The chat was popping and crazy today. Up over 100 for the better part of the entire show. Loving that. Thanks for joining us. Lots of new faces. Please like, share, subscribe. Note, I said that I said that I wasn't sure. I didn't say no about Justin. So I just want to note that.
Clarification.
Clarification for having just like an objective view of Casey Nearest. That's just me. I don't know. And once more, the only reason I don't know is because we're having this conversation. this conversation wouldn't exist if this was as black and white as it could be. But I hope it's black and white the right
Exactly.
Boom. Brian?
Well, number one, kids, never apologize if you're given an honest answer. You gave an honest answer.
I did indeed.
And that goes for the same people in the chat. You don't have to agree with any of us or each other. Just, be respectful and hear the other person's opinion. And with that note, it's great to see you guys. I know it's been a while since I've been on cam, but like I said, I'm here every day and I see you guys' comments. Samo, it's really great seeing you. I can take your smiling face off the milk carton now because I know you're safe. And I want everybody to have a safe, wonderful day. Hope to see you tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, Brian. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Yeah, it was a good show, man. It was a very good conversation to have. I think it's a needed conversation. I think that the context that was provided, though, definitely it makes you think that, man, maybe Justin wasn't given a fair shot and that he deserves a better opportunity. So that's just where I'm at with it. I definitely understand where kids is coming from too, because it's not my decision to make. And I'm gonna ride with the Bears and Ryan Poles, whatever he decides to do. But I think in my heart that Justin Fields can lead this team to the promised land, and that's to the playoffs and even further. If given the opportunity and given some proper weapons and proper coaching around him, man, I think that he has that type of talent.
Well, I'm gonna end this like this with a statement to all the new people in the chat. I'm gonna tell you guys something, man. When you're doing content for the Bears fans out here, on the surface it probably looks easy. You know what I mean? It probably looks like, oh, okay, they're just having fun. We're having a lot of fun. But to put it all together and get people in one place to really make sure you do it consistently and make sure you're putting out stuff that the Bears have, so the fans have something to hang on to when you don't feel like watching stupid crap on TV. You like watching Bears content. We here to serve that. And so what I would like to see and what I get a joy out of is when I look up and go to YouTube the next morning when I get up and see new people that subscribe. Man, that's the best feeling in the world. That means that what we do on this show is being appreciated. You know what I mean? And I know you guys do, man, because so many people come and they let us know in the comment section, man. I love that. People respond and we give them feedback and all that stuff. But the best feeling in the world is to wake up and see all the people that like the show and the new subscribers, man, because that's what we aim to do is just reach more people. And that's just the best feeling in the world to me, man, outside of just joining. I love doing live show and getting live feedback from everybody in the chat. But when you go see it be reflected in your subscriptions and people letting you know how much they appreciate what you do, that's the joy and makes me want to get up and keep striving for more. We work extra hard around here, man, to make sure you guys get good content out here. Man, we would definitely appreciate if you gave it back to us in the subscriptions, man. So it don't matter if you agree with us or not. We're all Bears fans. We're all here for the same thing, to see the Bears get over the hump and put us in the Super Bowl 2, 3, 4 times. And that's it. How we get there, we argue and we fuss and we fight about it. But at the end of the day, man, this is about us. So differ, agree, doesn't matter. It really doesn't, man. Just be a fan and appreciate the people that's out here putting the content out here for you guys to enjoy, man. So I'll just leave you with that, man. Love you guys so much. Keep bringing that funk like you've been bringing it. And I'll leave you guys with these famous words. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Peace. Bear
Keep
down.
talking about the Bears drafting Caleb Williams, and I will slap the taste out your mouth. I mean it.